You're ready.
Attention everybody, the views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and supported ministries and or nonprofits. Some of this content may be adult in nature, so please use discretion while watching with your kids.
The Johnny Rooster Morning Mouth Live is all about small business entrepreneurs. It's all about nonprofits, and it's all about performing artists in the 417 area. Today, our guests are from a nonprofit organization called NAMI, N-A-M-I. So it is not a strange foreign language. It stands for some big stuff. So we're going to talk about that right now. Good morning, and we've got Stephanie.
Hello.
The executive director.
Yes.
We have Addie. Who is added on. You're an Addie on.
Yes.
Because I didn't expect you to be here today, so I'm so glad you joined us.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, ladies. So tell us about NAMI and what does it stand for?
So NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are not the clinical side, but the peer side. So everybody that works at NAMI has a diagnosed mental illness and is in recovery.
So what kind of whack job are you?
Well, I have agoraphobia, which is the fear of open spaces, which I'm in recovery now, but...
So if we had this in a field, you'd have less...
I couldn't do it.
You didn't like that
I
idea.
did not like that.
So we got a small room.
We got a small room. I'm cool. But when I had it, I could not leave my house for 14 years because I had severe anxiety attacks. So
Agoraphobia.
Yeah.
Agoraphobia.
Paula Dean has it. That's how she started her business. And in her house.
Fear of open spaces. Stay away from Western Kansas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay away from that. But I was so sick. Like I got where I was having panic attacks in my sleep. I was having a panic attacks during the day, and then I have 5 family members that we've lost from suicide. So my goal when I got better was to work for an organization that helps people with mental illness because I kind of wanted to change the face.
Well, Johnny Rooster makes light of things, but I cannot minimize the struggle you must have had and still have. But why and how would someone have a fear of an open space? It seems like claustrophobia feels like it's more of a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It was so bizarre because it started.
How did you discover this?
Well, it started with panic attacks. When I took my daughter to school one day, I had a panic attack. So then I started avoiding her school. Because, I
thought it was the school.
I didn't want that
my
trigger.
My kids all have panic attacks when they go to school.
Well, it was the car line. It was being stuck in the car line.
Okay.
And so then I went to Walmart one day, and I was at Walmart, and then I started getting a panic attack at Walmart, and I had to leave my cart. And
so you just couldn't deal with it?
No. So then I started avoiding all.
Well, it's going now. They can still hear you.
And it's still possible to record without...
No. Where is the card?
Well, we'll grab it out of the laptop. My apologies. How was it recording with the card not in it?
We had the audio with no video when you lost. When you
But I mean, we had an audio and a video with no card in the camera.
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
How's that possible?
We're glad to see you guys still here. This is Matt, station manager, just trying to get this all set up here. Now we're going to try this again. This is...
One thing, when we get 1 million people watching, we're going to really feel good. Okay, so that's us live. That's us. This is us on Memorex. This is us live. This is us on their channel. Thanks for being patient. We have a little card issue. We put the SD memory card in there now. Okay, so we're talking about NAMI, which is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. You're talking about agoraphobia, which is a fear of open spaces, and
Yep.
you discovered this, and you struggled for 14 years with panic attacks.
Yeah, so that's what started the agoraphobia, is I started avoiding my triggers,
Okay.
like where I was. So my world got super small to the point where I only felt comfortable at home. So that's why I did not leave my house.
Sounds like COVID. You know, everybody's afraid to go out now.
Yeah, well, that's when COVID hit. I was like, oh, I got this. I've
got
been
this
stuck in my
down.
house for 14 years before.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it was horrible. I missed everything with my kids, you know, graduations and pageants and all of that. I missed all of it.
Do you get to find relief from that now? Or is that something you have to live with?
Well, you know, I've had more things happen in my life that were really traumatic since I got better. I don't want people to think that once you get better, everything just goes away. I think what happened was God prepared me for my purpose, for the struggles I was going to have later in life. And that's how I got to deal with it, because I had that preparation in place. I missed things, yes. It was horrible, yes. But there were things that happened after that were even more devastating, and I could get through it. Had that have happened when I was sick, I don't think I could have.
So meaning now, what is your state of mind? Do you have to control it somehow, or?
I don't have panic attacks anymore. I will have them maybe one every 2 years or something. But no, I went to therapy. I started taking the medication. I went back to church, and those 3 things helped me in my recovery. I always say you can't do one thing. You can't just take medication and think that everything's going to be good. You have to put things in your toolbox that work for you. And those 3 things may not work for everybody. So that's what worked for me. And since then, I've just been doing everything I can to help kind of dispel the myths with mental illness. Because, you know, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and that's what kills people. You know, because I thought, I don't want to tell anybody I have this because I'm going to lose my kids. They're going to come take my kids. They're going to lock me up in a psych ward. All of those things that people think about mental illness is what keeps people from getting the help they need.
That's really well said. Thank you, Stephanie Appleby. She's the Executive Director for ANAMI of Southwest Missouri, stands for National Association for Mental Illness.
Alliance.
Oh, National Alliance. I get the A mixed up.
It's okay.
So we've got another guest here, and you brought her along. Addie, tell us about how you got involved
So,
and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the Hope Center Director. I manage the drop-in center at NAMI Southwest Missouri. I kind of stumbled on NAMI. I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and I was very sick for a very long time. Kind of like Stephanie, I was homebound also, not as long, but I still couldn't leave my house. And I was very, I had panic attacks also. And eventually, I think a lot of people think OCD is like being really clean and tidy, and there's kind of a organized. I was not like that. I had an intrusive thought OCD, which my brain generated these really scary thoughts that I couldn't get rid of, and eventually it almost led me to take my life. So
can you describe one of those examples? Maybe people watching would get some kind of help, an understanding of what they're going through.
For example, I would be driving down the street and someone would be walking across the street, and I would think, oh my gosh, am I going to hit somebody with my car? And I was so scared of hitting someone with my car, I couldn't drive a car anymore. My husband had to drive me places.
Normally we can have random thoughts about what if I veered into the other lane, but you don't dwell on it, and you would get consumed by it.
The thing about OCD is you ruminate and can't get rid of the thought. Your brain kind of gets stuck on a thought. And maybe it's food contamination, like I couldn't eat certain foods, I could only
for fear of being contaminated.
Yeah, so I couldn't cook. I had to have everything prepackaged, and so it was very, I was like a captive of my thoughts. So eventually, kind of like Stephanie, I got medication. I went to therapy. My family was really supportive, and now I'm able to do what I do.
So do you feel like you're functioning as appropriate level of...
Yeah. You know, there's always going to be anxiety, and my OCD is always going to be there. But it's kind of like the tools I have really make it controllable.
Yes.
And I'm able to function and have a really good life. Sometimes it pops up and I struggle, but I bring out other tools to help.
I think my mom suffers from packageophobia, where she has to put the little ketchup packs in the door of the van in case she needs them, or in the glove box.
Yeah.
There probably is a phobia for that.
Probably.
It's kind of like, well, you know what? You may need, you're stuck somewhere and you just got to have a packet of ketchup
Yeah.
from McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Anyway, Mom, if you're watching, it's a joke.
Sorry.
You really don't do that anymore. I've noticed the van has fewer packets. Okay, so moving right along, we have introduced our guest today, and we wanted to let you know, if you are struggling with some kind of a disorder or something, you don't want to talk about it, it's embarrassing, what would be a good way to get help or start a process? Because most people, they're like you, they wouldn't want to go some facility and feel like they're in treatment.
Yeah,
What do
so
they need
we
to do?
have a warm line, which is a step down from a crisis line. So a lot of folks call our warm line just to talk, just to say, hey, I'm struggling
Can
today.
they put those banners up, please? Because I don't see them here.
And then they can talk to someone that has the lived experience. So you're not calling a hotline, you're not talking to somebody that doesn't understand, you're talking to somebody who's been there. The number, you can call our office, 864-7119, and get
Okay.
information about that. And also you can just drop in. That's what our drop-in center is that Addie runs. You can come in, you don't need an appointment. You can come in and say, hey, listen, I'm struggling, I need to speak with someone. And we're at the Cox North Med Tower, which is right across the street from Cox North Hospital. And we also have, how many support groups do we have now?
14.
We have 14 support groups.
So the support groups, what do they do?
Anything from schizophrenia to bipolar to anxiety, and you just sit in a support group with your peers that have the lived experience also, and just bounce stuff off each other. All of our services are free, so nothing costs. You don't need appointments.
You can't beat the price.
Yeah, and I always say, it's intimidating at first when you walk in and you're in the group room and it's filled with people, but once everyone starts talking, you feel like you're at home. You are with people that are not judging you. You're with people that have lived this and understand, and that's the beauty of it, because for me, my family didn't like to talk about it, so it was really difficult for me to connect with them. So
Well, then, if your family doesn't like to talk about it, does that mean they're uncomfortable with that conversation? Topic?
Yes, and the suicides that I had in my family, my great-grandfather was very ill, and then his son, my grandfather, was very ill, and it was very primitive back then. They did shock therapy treatments on my grandfather, and my mom said as a girl, she used to wrap herself up in the drapes when he would come home because she was scared of him, because they did not talk about it. So you're afraid of what you don't know, So I think it's kind of that same old school mentality where if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. So, that's where I came out and decided I am going to talk about it.
Yes.
Because I don't want anyone to feel the way I did,
Yes.
which was the isolation of feeling like I couldn't talk to anybody. So
You're saying that very well. And Addie, is there anything you wanted to say about your situation or how people can get help? They've got the groups, support groups.
I think for me and my family, we culturally and religiously, it was a very against our beliefs to talk about mental health. Like it almost as if it didn't exist. So my family had to be very open to having that conversation, even if it was kind of uncomfortable, and it saved my life. So I think that being open and allowing people to help. When you come into the drop-in center, you don't need diagnosis papers, you don't need a note from your doctor. You just walk in, as Stephanie said, and it can be uncomfortable at first, but when you come into our office, we've all lived it, so no one's going to judge you or think that you're crazy or stupid or anything like that.
Okay, well, that's a great way to introduce the next idea. And it's going to be, what are some different phobias that you've heard of?
Well,
I used to do some trivia, and I'd say all these phobias was one of the topics.
Right. We see a lot of different things come through our office. I've met folks who have schizophrenia. I've met folks who have different kind of personality disorders. I've met folks who have obsessive compulsive disorder. Some people have phobias of, I think I met one person who had a phobia of bugs and snakes and stuff like that. I mean, just people with
Arachnophobia.
yeah, just different. Some people don't like to be touched. I have people that come in and you have to be very careful not to touch them because they have trauma and stuff like that in their life. We've seen
Clown phobias.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Are you able to see results that are positive with all of the phobias? Are they in a different frame of mind, or is it all up to the individual to get the help once they understand?
Yeah.
Or how does it work to get help?
I think with a phobia, you know, it's some distorted thinking, so it's normal to have fears about certain things. It's when it starts controlling your life that it becomes an issue. So what we try to do is, through our lived experience, kind of give them coping skills to be able to live a life that's not controlled by the fear of whatever they're afraid of.
Okay. Yeah.
So
There's a way to do. You know, there are the top 10 phobias is arachnophobia. They're showing here. Fear of spiders. They tend to affect women more than men, but men may be more like spiders in general. They may be creepy in general.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Good one. You're ahead of me. Ophidiophobia is the fear of snakes.
Ooh, okay.
My wife definitely can relate to the fear of snakes.
Spiders and
She
snakes.
just wants the nope rope to go away. Other people love snakes. I have one of my clients, she has a pet python, and she was afraid to come in here and talk on camera, so I went to her and got her interview with her snake. That's how she felt comfortable.
Oh.
That might be the opposite for someone else. They may have the fear of snakes, and then they would want to be in front of the camera. Well, most people would have the fear of being in front of a camera or public speaking or anything like that. That's a common thing. But cynophobia is the fear of dogs. Now that's
sad.
feels uncommon
Yeah.
because
Right.
almost everyone has a dog. Do you have a dog?
I've got 2.
Yeah. Do you have?
2.
So the cynophobia people, they would be really concerned about that. Personally, I was attacked by my own dog at age 4. He was playing and he left a scar on me because he kept biting when I was pulling away. He thought it was a game, and he drew blood and I got stitches. And now, not fear of dogs, but uncertain about dogs, so I'm neutral. I've come to resolve it by saying dogs are not the enemy, but even though my experience, I wouldn't want to be crotch nuzzled by a Labrador, because that has happened. And I didn't want to get that close to the Labrador, but he wanted to get that close to me. His owner enjoyed it too much because I was trying to sell him something at his door, and so I deserved it probably. As a door-to-door salesman, the dogs and you will not always get along. That's the truth. In fact, I've been bitten several times selling door-to-door. Maybe I should stop that activity. That's what showed me. To get rid of that problem, you stop selling door to door. Yeah, you don't change the dog, you change you.
You change, yes.
It's not the dog's fault you came to their door. It's your fault because you were selling something. That's my logic.
All right, we'll go with that.
Astrophobia. Astrophobia is not the fear of asses. It is actually the fear of thunder and lightning.
I was going to say maybe the fear of sky.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
good because thunder and lightning can be
Astrology.
in the astrophobia. So my son feels like he's had this when he was a kid. He was terrified of those storms. I think that's mostly being a kid because you get through it.
Well, and
What's
I
the
think,
difference between being a childhood fear and a real ongoing issue?
well, I don't think there is much of a difference. It's kind of the fear of not being in control is ultimately what it is, of not in control of your surroundings and what's going on. And, you know, I've seen some phobias on some of these shows that people have that, you know, I just can't even believe, like a fear of balloons. But it's real to those people.
It's real.
You know?
Are the guys ready for commercial?
Check the time.
It's time. I'm going to call it here in a minute. Just wanted to say, hey Radio Tower, are you guys ready for commercial? I'm ready. We're going to go to commercial break and talk about some social phobias right after this, which I think are really interesting. Thank you to our guests for being here from NAMI of Southwest Missouri. We'll be back right after these important messages. Don't forget to brush your teeth, y'all.
It's showing there too.
homeowners will try to DIY a job with the most ridiculous items, like a mat screwed to the roof
Oh my.
to fix a leak.
I mean electrical panel inside of a shower unit in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, the most ridiculous things, just what they think is saving money will cost 10 times more.
If I let fear get in the way of things that are happening in my life right now, I might allow negative to continue and allow things that are not okay to exist because of fear. Because when you do allow yourself to be real, it lets other people's barrier down and it lets them be real.
Extra Mile Home Inspection, this is Rob. Yes, do you do repairs as well as inspections? Yes, we do. My husband put the shower in our basement over the electric panel, the fuse thing, the breaker box.
My back is killing me. Why don't you go to Halo Massage and Wellness? Do I have to take my clothes off?
All right, okay, we're back. The little creepy babies and the whole thing, that's what we do. We're talking about advertisers here, and what you just saw was part of our advertising campaign. We like to show what small businesses are doing, whether they're the massage therapist, whether they're home inspectors or real estate agents. We want to help you. If you have your own business, please let us know. We'd love to be able to work with you. Talk to us more about that. And absolutely free, you can be on the show, the Johnny Rooster Morning Mouth Show, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. So go to johnnyroosterlive.com and look at the guest sign up tab. Go in there and fill that out. All we're doing is getting the information to reach you so you can be on the show. You can also go over to the events or the actual tab that says show schedule, and that way you can see who's on the list and when you can jump in. So I believe we still have some openings at the end of May. So look at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:40 a.m. right here in Springfield, Missouri. Today's guest, as we've been talking about phobias, is Stephanie Appleby, the Executive Director for NAMI of Southwest Missouri. That's NAMI, SWMO.org. And then Addie Blankenship, their Hope Center Director. So again, different types of phobias. One was a social phobia. For me, ladies, the social phobias, it says the fear of social situations. In many cases, these can become so severe people avoid events, places, and people that are likely to trigger anxiety, which I know that you have in your background some specific things of what you've done and avoided. But now, today, are you able to get out and do things?
Yeah, I'm able to get out and do things. I've been traveling. I went to Washington and spoke with some of the congressmen there about reform and change for individuals that are living with mental illness. I drove because I'm still afraid to fly.
Okay.
So that was a nice long trip. Been to New Orleans, been all over now. So Florida, that was something I never would have thought I could have done.
This big word is fear of flying. It starts with a P, but I think that's a silent P.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to, I don't understand some of those. They're so hard to.
And it's often treated using exposure therapy in which the client gradually and progressively is introduced to flying. It reminds me of that Fraser Crane episode where Fraser on the TV series is trying to help his clients. He's the psychiatrist and wonderfully played by, what's the guy's name? He was really funny. Kelsey Grammer. And he was from the TV show Cheers. Anyway, he's in the airplane trying to get his clients to be okay, and they take off, and then all of a sudden, he, the psychiatrist, has a major panic attack. He's running through, he's like looking out the windows.
It's scary.
Mommy,
that's how I feel when I used to have one. But I don't really think I have the fear of flying. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I don't.
What's a common fear?
Huh?
It's a common fear.
Yeah,
It's one
it
of
is
the
a
top
common
10.
fear. We don't see a whole lot of phobias. We deal more with mental illness. So schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety. And what's interesting is after the pandemic, there's people that never had a mental health diagnosis before ever that are now having that.
I've heard that.
We have been flooded with new folks that are coming in that are very unfamiliar with mental illness and what to do and what the resources are. And then we've had our resources kind of cut in half because the beds at the hospital, they've had to social distance people, and so they can't accommodate the needs. So a lot of those folks are coming to us, which is amazing for us because we get to connect with these folks and tell them, how to navigate these uncharted waters, because we've had to do it ourselves. And it's very difficult, when you have diabetes or you have a heart condition or something, people aren't ashamed to go get help at all.
Right.
But when you have a mental illness, people are ashamed, and we've done that to these folks. We've made them feel like this is something to be ashamed of. And so that's what the first step that we do is when someone comes into our office, we honor them and say we're so happy that you came and asked for help, because that's the first step. It's so hard,
What do you ladies recommend the public do to help get that make that better? Help get the stigma a little less for people.
I think talking about it, not being afraid to come out and say, listen, I'm struggling, I need help. If you can't talk to your family, reach out to us. Call our warm line. Come into our office. Talk to your primary care doctor. Don't keep it silent, because that's what leads to isolation and crisis, and we don't want that.
I've heard of social prescribing. Have you heard that term?
No.
This was developed in the United Kingdom. So here's what I want you to know. Our channel is designed for social awareness. So that's what we're doing here. I'm going to help you understand something that I watched in a TED Talk, and you can look it up.
Those.
But it's social prescribing. So you're prescribing something, but it's socially. Here's what they do. They take groups of people that have a mental disorder, illness, or fear, or whatever it is they're facing. They take this group to a place in nature together, and they build or do something like a garden. They work in nature. They're doing something with their hands as a group, but before this, they have to be coaxed, they have to be touched. Those that want that get cuddled, they get talked to. Some of them are weeping openly until they realize it's okay, and then here's what triggers the relief. Being in nature with other people that continually got your back. They're always there for them.
A lot of peer support going on.
There's no isolation. This may not work for everybody, but they said out of 10 patients, 8 are seeing relief, 2 require medication out of 10 if they continue this process. Because chemically, most people can balance again with nature and support.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I believe
amazing.
that. And it redirects your thought process too.
Yes.
That's something that I battled with when I stayed at home, because it was just me. The kids were at school.
Yes.
My ex-husband was at work, and I was alone with my thoughts, and that was dangerous for me, that idle time. So yeah, I can see where that would work.
I'm giving you a lot of time to express to people that are watching. This is on YouTube, and you can click on it anytime. Even though we're on a live stream now, most people watch these later when they're available. And so if they're asking a question, what would the answer be? How do I get help in the 417 area? What is the number? I say 417-864-7119.
Yes, that's our phone number. And I want people to understand that you come to our office, and it's so welcoming. It's so welcoming because we're all broken. Everybody is. But you are in a space where everyone has admittedly said, I'm broken and I want to help you get back together. And that's what I love about it, because everyone is super passionate about what we do, because people that have mental illness are not weak. They're the strongest people I know, because we've had to endure so much. And a lot of it, we've had to deal with behind closed doors, because we couldn't maybe reach out to somebody in our family. And we've really started working a lot with the homeless community as well, because what I noticed when I started at NAMI is a lot of individuals that are homeless are either homeless because of trauma, or have trauma because of being homeless.
Right.
And so we've worked a lot with these individuals. We've gotten about 25 of our folks that are unsheltered homes. And it's really amazing to see the transformation when they've lived on the streets for so many years. We get them the help that they need, and we kind of start peeling off the layers and seeing what that trauma is. We get them the medication that they need, and they have a home where they can take their medication. They have food. You know, it's people don't think you have to take food with some of this medication. And when you're on the streets, that's maybe not something that you have the luxury of getting. So, you know, I think we've made some headway there with those folks. We also do mental health court. So we work with individuals that maybe have some charges that, you know, say someone has schizophrenia,
right,
and they were hearing voices and they were being disruptive somewhere and they got, you know, a ticket for that.
Right.
Now they're in the court system, and so we go and advocate for them as well. And we train the Springfield Police Department for CIT, which is crisis intervention. And that's something that's really important, is if you have a family member that has a mental health issue, you can call the Springfield Police Department, ask for a CIT officer.
Right.
And they are specially trained to deal with individuals that have mental illness. And they come in and they just talk with them. They don't come in, you know, guns blazing and
right,
handcuffs. They come in and sit down and try and diffuse the situation. So there's a lot of awesome things that we're doing and have been doing for a long time that a lot of people don't know about. So there's no need to be ashamed now. You know, there's no need to be.
All right. Andrea, go get that balloon across the room. We're going to do a little little balloon experiment here today. It won't hurt anybody, but what we're going to do is we're going to have the two of you have to keep this balloon airborne. So when I say go, it's just between the two of you, and the first one to let it drop, and you're just going to be doing this, but you have to do it. You can only hit it one time, so we're going to practice. It's like one hit, and the next one has to get, just like that. But it's going to be between the two of you, because there's a prize for the winner who doesn't.
We're competitive.
The first one that drops it is the loser. So on go, you're going to hit it once, you're going to hit it once, and that's it. If you hit it twice, you're out.
There's no other rules.
If it drops, there's no other rules. You just got to tap that thing, and it's got to stay on. Pretty much stay under your control. You can't leave your chairs.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I can do this all day. I got this.
You can spike it at your opponent if you want him to lose, whatever you think you can do. But you see, she's wild. They gotta stay in the chair.
No, that's not
dirty trick.
You said I could.
Yeah, I know. There's no.
Thank you.
That was dirty. Okay, so you win from one of our sponsors. Traveler's House Coffee has a free drip coffee and a blueberry muffin. So you won that today.
That's awesome.
Thank you to Greg of Traveler's House Coffee on Republic Road. That's the location.
I love that place.
And you're familiar with Traveler's House? If you folks haven't been to Traveler's House Coffee, you're going to need to, and you might need to bat a balloon to get something around here. You might never know what's going to happen around this place. Do you remember Saturday we had an event, and that's where I met you?
Yeah, I loved it. It was so fun.
You know, did you understand what we were doing there? It was really weird.
I didn't think it was weird. I understood,
Great. We're raising some awareness for people that have their own business, and we brought in 5 local businesses. Do you have the paper with that? We can get that. Mrs. Rooster on standby here. We're going to read off those people because I want them to be recognized, and I'm putting together a strategy to recognize them in a new way. What I'm going to make is a little cartoon of each of them, like you saw one of my little cartoons.
I love that, yes.
And have them interacting with some scenario, and that'll be fun. It'll be playing on our loop.
Yeah,
so
I think that'll be
here's the story, folks. If you have a small business or a nonprofit and you want to get recognized in a unique way, I'll get the clips available for you. I'll play them on my channel here, but you'll also get them for your platforms. So that'll be fun. So the program was 5 different sponsors, and the idea was to drop food from the 3rd level parking garage on Olive Street, and the people down below on the street level were catching these objects. So you had
in cups.
There was a, if you caught the most, you would win $100 cash presented by the business. So they're TLC Properties. It's Nikki Carter Realty, and it was It was Everything Kitchens, and the fourth one was NAMI, which is right here. So we had those four. So please be aware that those four sponsors will be represented in a delightful way. If you want to be part of something, you just go to JohnnyRoosterLive.com and get on that list. That's all right, Andrea. We had other sponsors for $20, and that included 5-6 different people. We're going to recognize them as well. So thanks a lot for being part of this program. We have about 4 minutes left. So as we do that, we wanted to let you know we were going to show a clip from that event. Well, I'll do that later. There was a little hang up on some of the technology, but dropping pickles, hot dogs, cookies, donut holes, and marshmallows. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was clever.
The people down below had a great time. There's age 11 to age 72 involved, and we encourage you, if you hear about something, come on out. We like to have fun. The event before that one was an arm wrestling event. What I was going to do is arm wrestle a female bodybuilder. If you look up on the wall, that blonde lady right up there, her name is Terry Williams. She had torn her esophagus. And what happened was she was told she'd never be able to bodybuild again. She's going pro. So she wants to get her pro card. That's her right there.
That's
so
amazing.
she wanted to do that. She's a single mom, 36 years old, 2 daughters, 9 and 11. What happened then, she was coming back to the gym with a feeding tube. That's how determined she was.
Wow.
When she kept going and going, her esophagus tore again after my interview, after my challenge that I was going to arm wrestle her on the air for a publicity thing. She got hospitalized with the same problem. Now she's got to face maybe a feeding tube for life. Maybe she has some other options, but challenges are all over her. We're going to surprise her in a few weeks. We're going to do a surprise for her.
That's amazing.
So we can't say
Wow.
it, but we're going to help her in a variety of ways. If you want to help a single mom, I've got a friend named Andy Martinez. You look him up on Facebook, and he has the Invisible Man. Just look that up. That program helps single moms in very specific situations.
Wow.
We're going to be happy to announce anything that you want to recap for NAMI in the last minute we have.
I think we have NAMI Walks, which is coming up May 22nd. It's a virtual walk. You can do that.
Walk.
You can go to our website and find out about that. You can come to, this is my favorite event. It's the Neon Night Run.
Okay.
And it is in August. And that is where it used to be called Illuminate the Darkness, but it's the Neon Night Run now. Everything is glow in the dark. It's at night.
Cool.
It's at Rutledge Wilson Farm. All of the information's on our website.
Great.
And you can run underneath glow in the dark arches.
Cool.
And it's so cool. And we have 22 flags out there to represent the 22 veterans that we lose a day to suicide. It's very symbolic, very cool, very educational. It's really okay to bring your kids. We talk about things that these kiddos need to know about, especially right now with the challenges they're having.
Anything else from you there, Addie?
Huh?
Where are you located?
Oh, the location, is it important to know the address for NAMI?
It's 1443 North Robertson, Suite 408.
It's
Cox
just
North
across
Med
from
Towers.
Cox North Hospital.
Yeah. I think if people want to come to the Hope Center, maybe you are not ready to go to a group. We have a lot of activities like karaoke and art classes and stuff like that. So look us up on Facebook, NAMI Southwest Missouri, and you can see what's going on day to day, just fun activities going on.
And May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
May is
We're gonna
Mental
do a lot
Health
of fun
Awareness
stuff for
Month,
that.
so
Yep.
perfect timing. We are in the month of May already. It's a beautiful day. Get out there and enjoy life. You know, get out there and get help if you need it, but help others if they need it. Thank you for being here. And as we run in the out music, I can hear it's going on. Thank you again to all the people that supported our event Saturday. We're going to have another one. It's called Party at the Property, May 15th. It's our rural property, 35 minutes from Springfield. It's a beautiful setting south of Rogersville, east of Sparta, and we are all invited. Just bring your own food. We're going to have a genuine cookout and some games and activities out there May 15th at 4 p.m. That's on a Saturday. Until next time, I'll see you on Wednesday. The next show coming up is Dr. Paul Collins with Bucket List. So thanks for checking out all of the programming here on Axe Media Group AMG Broadcasting.